She's an activist, she's an author, and former first daughter of the United States. Now, did you know that her Secret Service code name was Energy? So, put your hands together and show some real big energy for Chelsea Clinton. Coffee with our audience.
I mean, this is great.
Well, we are so excited to have you. Now, the producers told me that you were at the Eagles game last night.
I was.
Yes?
I was. And so, I know, look at that. I mean, and Jalen Hurts is just such an attractive man. I know that shouldn't
Girl,
matter.
you're married, but you still got eyes. You still can see.
Thank you, Sherri. Also, that poster that you had up, like announcing the Super Bowl, it looked like a Marvel action movie poster.
It did.
Right? I mean, look at that.
Yes, it does.
Like, you know, the clash of the Titans.
Yes, it does.
Even though they're not the Titans. I know that's Tennessee. Yes, my husband's from Philadelphia.
Okay.
He bleeds green.
Yes.
The first word that our children learned how to spell was Eagles because of the song, like Fly, Eagles, Fly. I was very proud of that. We were in the stadium yesterday, and I was like, oh, like, sweetheart, these are your people, and now you don't have to do the dance by yourself. It's like so nice. Like, you have all these people here, tens of thousands of them.
Well, I want to make sure that when you were at the game that you had the same shoes on. Okay.
I did. Yes, ma'am. I did.
I asked you that because you posted on Instagram that you had on 2 different pairs of shoes, and Oprah called you out. So this was last week, and you wore 2 different...
Yes,
okay, you got to explain to me what happened.
Okay, so I have 3 kids.
Yes.
And
I know, enough said.
Thank you. And a husband. And I was leaving very early in the morning to take the train to Baltimore to then get to Annapolis for my friend Wes Moore's inauguration.
Yes.
And I was leaving very early, and I didn't want to wake anyone up, and so I had turned like the bathroom light on. The moral of the story is I also should have turned the closet light on because I grabbed like 2 shoes that I knew were black because there's like everything is color coded admittedly because I'm a little type A, and so I knew I grabbed 2 black shoes. I just failed to check that I had grabbed an actual pair of shoes. And as I was walking through Penn Station, I was like, wow, like they feel different. This is why do they feel different? And then I looked at it, I was like, oh, they feel different because they are different. There was like nothing I could do. I wasn't gonna go home.
I know.
And like maybe miss my friend's inauguration.
Yes.
Right, so I get there and I was like, all right, this is so embarrassing. Like no one's noticed. Then I sit down next to Oprah and she's like, do you have on 2 different shoes?
That's Oprah.
I was like, oh, Oprah, I do. So then I explained it to her, and she's like, so it's not a new fashion. I was like, no, ma'am. Not a new fashion.
It is so funny, and you're allowed to have these brain farts because, like you said, you're a mother of 3 kids. How do you get any... Yes, clap for that. But I have a hard time with just 1. How do you get anything done with 3 children?
We're very organized.
Are you you're really type A?
Yes, ma'am. So also that morning when I left, I had to like leave very detailed instructions for my husband. I was like, here's who like needs the packed lunch. This kid needs to wear this set of clothes today because they're having a Lunar New Year celebration. I mean, there were like very detailed instructions. And then he was sending me like photographic evidence. He's like, look. He's like, I'm like 1 child check.
Oh my gosh, and it's so funny, you have 3 kids, and Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton are your parents. Are they, what are they like as grandparents?
Oh, they're great grandparents.
Yeah.
They're so good. And it's so fun for me because obviously, like, I don't remember being a baby, and I have a few memories of being a little kid, and they're, like, my earliest memory is falling down the stairs and my mom, like, immediately picking me up and giving me a big hug and putting me on her lap and reading me Goodnight Moon. And so just to see, like, the moments of how loving and caring they are with our kids and how excited they are to learn everything about our children and to have my kids teach them things is just so fun. It's so fun.
It's you know, looking at Hillary and Bill, you come from a political dynasty. And I don't know if you remember the time when you were helping your mom run for president. And you were calling, yes, and so I remember sitting at home and my phone rang and you were like, hi, Sherri, there? And I'm like, yeah. And you're like, hi, this is Chelsea. I was like, Chelsea who? And you said, Chelsea Clinton. And I'm like, what? And you started telling me about all the things that your mom could do if I voted for her for president. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Girl,
yes.
I think I might have hung up on you. I don't even realize.
No, you didn't hang up on me, but you didn't believe me.
I didn't believe you.
You were like, how did you get this number? and I have to say, I was like, I don't really know, but thankfully I did, so I can talk to you about like why I love my mom and why I know she would be an awesome president.
I love that you did that for her. It's like in your DNA.
I mean, I was so pregnant, and then I had a newborn, and I was like, we're just going on the road. We just got to do this.
Okay, so then I ask you this: can you let me know? Because I know you're gonna run for president.
Well, no.
Now, girl, I don't think it's in your DNA, Chelsea. It's just in your DNA. I just want to make sure when Hillary calls me, I don't hang up on her when she's calling for you. Just tell me that, okay? I'm gonna put her on my caller ID.
Yeah.
I am really, really glad you're here because I wanted to ask you, you and your mom, you created a docuseries and it was called Gutsy, and it was about women, gutsy women. And one of the people that you had interviewed was Megan Thee Stallion.
That's right.
On your Gutsy docuseries. I want to know, look at this. Did your mom, you know who Megan Thee Stallion is, Chelsea. Did your mom hear the lyrics to WAP?
She did. She watched the video.
Okay, wait, y'all watched the video?
She watched the video. Yeah, well, because we do our homework in our family, Sherri. Come on. We do our homework.
Yes.
Yes.
So what did she think when she was watching the video with you?
You know, I think, there's so much I admire about my mom.
Yes.
And one of the things I most admire about my mom is that she always knows she has something new to learn.
Yes.
And she always believes that women should do whatever we want to do in whatever way we want to do it, provided we're not breaking anyone else down.
Right.
And so, I think the honest answer is, she's not going to be watching it on replay, but she's glad she saw it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that she saw WAP and she liked it. Now, another thing that I was curious about, is just so many things I want to ask Chelsea. I'm
right here. I'm on your show. You get to ask me what you want.
This is why I'm so glad you came. You also did an episode about comedy, and I did not know that you did not like comedy. Like comedians, can you explain that?
Well, no, I do like some comedians, and I will say, I think I said in the show, like I didn't know this was an intervention that I needed.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I was targeted by comedians.
Yes.
And I didn't think that was funny. I also, though, thankfully didn't take it personally because I just thought it was so weird that adults were making fun of a kid. I was like, this is so weird. And particularly now as a parent, it feels even more bizarre to me. And so I thankfully didn't take it personally. I do think, though, had I exposed myself to more of it, I don't know if I could have kind of maintained the thick skin.
Right.
And so I just thought, okay, like that's just not for me. Mm-hmm. And then when we were doing the episode on comedy, which really came about because for my mom, she loved Lucille Ball as a child and young woman. And there weren't many women role models. And so my mom really looked to Lucille Ball as someone who was so like purposefully and unapologetically like breaking the mold and proving like what a comedian could be. Like a woman, fully formed and unapologetic. And so she really wanted to do this episode, and I said, okay. And then as we got more into it, I thought, oh, I have been missing out. Like there thankfully is a lot of comedy that is not like punching down towards children, as Wanda Sykes says. It's like, throwing the rocks up. Yeah.
Well, I want to invite you. My best friend Kim Whitley and I, we're going on our comedy tour, Two Funny Mamas. So I want to invite you and your mom to come to the comedy show.
Come.
We talk about grown woman stuff.
I hope I'm a grown woman. I have 3 children and a mortgage.
Oh, so so you're grown. That's what we talk about. So I can't wait for you to come. It's so funny because, like you said, these comics were talking about you, and you were in the public eye. There wasn't no social media, but you were in the public eye all of the time. So when you see these kids today in the public eye and everybody's going after them, can you relate in some way?
And I find it, you know, so infuriating. I mean, I remember you know, when the Trump family was living in the White House and people were attacking Barron Trump, and I would always say, like, this is outrageous, like, leave him alone, he's a child. And people are like, well, you know, but his parents, I'm like, no, he's a child, like, period.
Yeah.
Like period. And I do think a lot about, Sherri, in the world of social media ubiquity, how kids today, their lives in some way are much closer to my life was as a kid. And in a way that I could have never foreseen, because kids today are connected to their friends. And it's not just the, I don't know, like hundreds of people in their school. It's the many thousands of people, you know, that are in those kind of concentric circles. And I think we all need to do a better job of protecting kids and helping kids understand why it's important that they protect themselves, whether that's like turning off the comedy, like for me as a kid, or like putting down their phone.
And she says she's not running for president? What? You are absolutely right. And I think you're not only talking the talk, you're doing something about it, because I'm very excited, my nieces, and to show them the books, Persisted. It is a series of books that you have called She Persisted, and in different fields.
Yes, ma'am.
And now you have She Persisted, Dorothy Height.
Yes.
Can you tell us about this book?
Yeah, so the first She Persisted really came out of a very kind of personal place of wanting to share stories of women who'd inspired me. And then now I'm so thankful that I've been able to write more stories and also support other authors writing about women who really have inspired them. I grew up knowing Dorothy Height's story because my father gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom when I was a kid. And my parents always, I very rarely missed school. Like, you know, they still made me go to school. But when I would come home and be like, and what did you do today? They'd be like, well, you know, I gave Dorothy Height the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And it was really important to my parents that I understand who these extraordinary people were who have constantly tried to push us forward as a country, and particularly for my mom, to help me really understand the extraordinary women who so often have been the leaders and often unheralded and overlooked. And certainly, you know, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to Dorothy Height. And I'm really excited for this book because in the chapter books, at least the first chapter, sometimes the first and second chapter, are really about their childhoods. And I think that's really important for kids to understand. I mean, that, you know, Dorothy Height grew up, you know, in her church and in her school, having opportunities to work on debate or to work on singing, to kind of be a leader that then helped her grow into the amazing, you know, civil rights leader that she was. I think though sometimes we just forget that like great people were kids, and I think that's very confusing for kids. You know, like Charlotte sometimes will ask me, she's my 8-year-old, like people that she admires, like, well, what was their favorite color? And I'm like, well, gosh, I wish I knew that. Like, of course that's what you want to know if you're 8. Like, you love that she's a marine biologist. That's what Charlotte wants to be when she grows up. But she's like, but what did she do? She's like, what was Sylvia Earle's favorite color? And I was like, I have no idea. I'm like frantically Googling. I'm like, I can't find it. But this, it really matters to me. You may not learn Dorothy Height's favorite color, but you are going to learn kind of what she did as a kid and what she was like as a kid and what her family life was like as a kid. And I think that's really important so that kids can then see themselves in that story.
And going greater and higher.
We all have starts, right? We all have beginnings.
And I love this, and I thank you, Chelsea, for coming by. You said you were gonna come. I just love it, and you kept your word.
Oh yeah,
which is
I'm a big believer. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
That's why I say no a lot, because if I can't do it, I'm not gonna say. Yeah, I just say no.
Okay, that was so very presidential. Like everything you do, Chelsea. I'm not stopping. I'm gonna be calling y'all going, hey, it's Sherri Shepherd. I'm stumping for Chelsea Clinton.
Gosh.
She's the running.
Well, right now I just want you to root for the Eagles.
I don't know who I can root for.
Poor Donna. I was watching.
Yeah, Donna. She's got to do both. So I got to figure out which son I'm rooting for.
Or you could just get the jersey, right?
The double-sided.
Double-sided.
We got a lot to talk about. I know I'm gonna be wearing the same shoes. Well, I know that though, girl. Chelsea's new book, She Persisted, the Dorothy Height story, comes out February 7th.